Here, I am late, but I am here. Yeah, no. Oh, I was just watching Smith Family Ranch, having a good laugh and reminisce about old days of farming. Good fun. Oh, I don't even know if anybody's going to come on here. I try to plan these things, but I'm no good at that. Planning in my life doesn't work. Oh, sorry. It's 1:30 in the morning, and in theory I should really be asleep, but that didn't happen. Look at my eyes; they're like red from hay fever. Hello. Yay! I'm not talking to myself anymore. I'm quite enjoying my little natter to myself. Yeah, look at that hay fever eyes. I taking everything possible. But this is the first time the first year we've been up here at this sort of time properly. So yeah, that's enough fun. I'll just carry on twittering to myself. Twittering. That's the trouble when you do live. See, I've just left another live. Hey, Dave. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm not feeling too bad at the moment. Good. Oh. I'm actually just planning a road trip. Oh, look at my eyebrow. This is the thing. When my hay fever gets bad, this really bugs me. This does. My eyes sort of swell, and this one swells down here, and this one doesn't, and it just like pulls your eyebrow down, and I look even more wonky than usual. I've literally taken everything possible for hay fever, and I'm still suffering. Oh dear. I don't really know what to talk about. Sorry. It's literally just a case of go live. I was having a drink, sorry. Yeah, I thought they would be finished by now, so I thought I'll plan live for now. But they're still talking. They're having a good laugh on Smith Family Ranch. Oh dear. I hate this hay fever. Hello, Gentry Homestead. Sorry, I've not been crying. It's hay fever. I tell you, it's getting worse, not better. So, what are you guys up to? What have you been doing? What do you want to talk about? Any questions? I didn't know if I was going to get really bad hay fever here this year. Oh, sorry. So sorry. Because we moved up here July last year, but it was a very different year. They were in drought by the time I moved up in July, and this year we're not. So stuff that had already died off this time last year is well and truly in flower. And the funny thing is, when I was talking to my doctor a few weeks ago, she asked about my hay fever. She says a lot of people come up to Scotland and their hay fever goes because it's different, different plants and stuff. I said, I don't know. I'll see how it goes. I didn't want to risk not having the medication. Benadryl, yeah. I'm currently on Piriton and cetirizine, 2 different ones, and eye drops. I just feel that they're proper hay fever eye drops, and my eyes are still itching. It's horrible. Sorry. Claritin, that's same as Piriton, I think. Yeah, I have a really really rare allergy in that I can eat some, but if I eat too much salt, I'll go like this, and then my eyes go puffy, and then I go into anaphylactic shock. But I know it's not too much salt because I cooked tea. Oh, I shouldn't be doing that. I know it's not due to salt because I cooked tea and I know exactly what I put in the tea, so in the food. So it's not that. This is just hay fever. I haven't yawned at all until now. Hey, Mary Beth. Thank you. I'm feeling a lot better despite the look of my face. Wherever I look, a wry mess. That is just hay fever, I promise. Yeah, I haven't been crying. Do I have Lasix for the horses? No, I don't. What are they? I've heard about Lasix and I have no idea what they are. Yeah, I was just talking on Smith Family Ranch with Darcy, her name is. Just talking to her about silly things that used to get up to when milking cows and stuff, and dealing with cows. It was a good laugh. When I was a teenager, I was at agricultural college, so it was a farm and a college, and yeah, we did a lot of things we shouldn't have done. I'm sure. Never anything to hurt the animals. It was just things to each other. Things like when you had the cows in the milking parlour. The cows are like up on a platform and you're below them. And as I'm sure you know, when cows go to the toilet, it's liquid. And it had been known to shove somebody's head down. It's got the back of the head under them. Yay! She made it all the way from Florida. Well done. I'm very impressed. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Oh, do me a favour, please, guys. Hit the thumbs up. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. Yeah, so we were talking about that sort of stuff. Hey, Kathy. Sorry, I just left yours. I was my Wi-Fi's down at the moment. Brother made a booby trap. Oh. Ginger Home said that sounds terrible. Well, we were terrible. We were absolutely terrible. We were so bad. We'd do things like take the desks out of the classrooms, or even just leave them in there, and then put a load of sheep in the classrooms. I'm guessing the pig pen probably had a load of straw in it, and probably muck as well. What was I saying? I can't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, we were talking about things that we got up to at college. So I just need to do this quickly. There we go. We'd do things like Manitou, telehandlers, teleholders, whatever you want to call them. They were quite new when I was at college. Oh, okay. See you later, Kathy. We used to do things like pick people's cars up and put them on top of buildings, on top of flat buildings, and things. So they couldn't get back down again without a telehandler. Hello, Homestead in the hard way. With some of the lads were worse. I have to say that the lads were far worse, but we used to laugh and encourage it. We'd do things like anybody who was a really, really deep sleeper, we would move themselves whilst they were asleep in bed, and all of their belongings, everything in their room, would move it outside. So they'd wake up outside, and sometimes we'd do things like put them in with the pigs, and they'd wake up in the smelly pig barn. We were terrible. We hid a tractor once, which it's no mean feat is hiding a tractor, especially when it was quite a big one. And the funny thing is, we hid it because we took it down to the horticulture department where all the plants were grown and everything, and they had a garden centre there. And we took this tractor down there, and we just covered it in plants. And the really funny thing is nobody there noticed. They just assumed that somebody over the weekend had just made a new display for the garden centre. And the farm kept saying that they couldn't find this tractor. They thought it had been stolen. They reported it stolen and everything. And it was just in the horticultural department. It was so funny. And they didn't find it for weeks. Of course, none of us could say we know where it is, because they say, how do you know where it is? Hi, Smith Family Ranch. How you doing, Darcy? So yeah, I just carried on talking about the stuff we were talking about, the silly things we did on the farm. Darcy, did you get what I was talking about with the clusters? What the lads did with the milking clusters? Hey, Karen. Oh, thank you, Karen. I feel so much better. I've got hay fever. That's why my eyes are red and look like I'm crying. I'm not. It's oh yeah, Darcy. That's what I was gonna do. Yay, that works. Hi, Dahlia. How are you doing? There's another one. That works. That makes it better. Yeah. So we were talking about silly stuff we used to do. We used to. Unfortunately, they closed down the bar. Oh, Darcy, do you mind if I make you a mod? Team Spanner. You won't get that, unfortunately. I don't know why I just said Team Spanner. Team Wrench. There you go. That's it. Team Wrench. I need to shrink. Oh, that's better. Yeah, sorry, my mod's just left, so I just thought, put somebody. So there's two of you in here now. That's good. It's all good. Yeah, and what you have to do as mod is you say to people, oi, hit the thumbs up. That's what you do. Because it makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Used to wait till somebody was asleep, fill their hands with shaving cream, and I like that. Yeah, so they wake up and go. You have to slay the trolls. Yeah, you do. You have to slay the trolls. Yes, when you're at college, I lived at my college, which was agricultural college. It was a working farm. They would just get rid of the battery chickens when I was there, which I'm very glad about. Dahlia, you can talk about these things. You should do that with Vegemite. Oh, God. The prank stopped after the close of the bar. Hi, Benny. I'd say good morning, guten Morgen, guten Abend, guten Nacht. Hi, hello. I know a little bit German, not a lot. Whoops. What am I doing? There we go. Which part of Germany are you from? Hello, Scott and Leanne. Right, did the prank stop after they closed the bar? I doubt it. It was just less fun. There were probably far less pranks done at night when everyone was drunk. Unfortunately now, though, they don't even have accommodation, so nobody can live there. Yeah. Yeah, that Vegemite cannot be easy to get off. Yeah, if we'd have thought about it, I'm sure we'd have done that with Calmop. We were not good people to be at college with. But yeah, we hid a tractor that was missing for 2 weeks. Police were involved in everything, and it was still on college site campus. They just hadn't realised that we'd just taken it to the garden centre and covered it in plants. And it wasn't until people were buying the plants off, and then they were looking at this tractor, and somebody said, "That's not one of ours. Where did that come from?" And then when they asked the other staff, the farm went, "We've had a tractor missing for 2 weeks." We reported it stolen. No CCTV in those days, you see. We could get away with these things. I still remember I had a field right at the end of a mile-long drive that we had at college. And one morning, I was walking back. There was cottages at the end where some of the people left, some of the older lots. Go for it, Dahlia. We walked. I was walking back up in the morning, and I heard this woman going, "Oh, what the hell's that?" And I looked in. It was a friend of mine, Tracy. I'm still friends with her on Facebook. We talk about this every now and then. And she got really, really drunk the night before. So drunk, she tried to walk back up the drive to go back to her accommodation, and she was so drunk she fell in a ditch and just fell asleep in this ditch. Luckily it was summer, so it wasn't wet. But yeah, the worst thing, well, I think it was stupid. I mean, we did a lot of funny stuff, but the stupidest thing, I've no idea how I'm still alive. I really haven't, Dahlia. I've done so much stupid stuff in my life. These days I'd probably have been arrested or sectioned. I don't really know which. I'm just thankful that we did not have mobile phones with cameras. Hello, Kent. Kent Johnson Gardens. You now go to bed at 8 p.m. Some days I do as well. Don't worry. I'm not always up like 2 o'clock in the morning like I am now. The stupidest thing that any lads ever did was, you know, when you milk cows, I don't know if you all know, you've probably all seen the machines where there's this thing that goes onto the teat of the cow, and it sucks the milk out. Now, lads being lads, and these being teenage lads, were looking at this machine one day and thinking, "That's quite interesting. It's a device that sucks." You stole the church's golf cart. Oh, that's funny. Anyway, yeah, so these lads looked at the clusters, they call them, they sit up onto the teat and then they pull down, and these lads just thought, hey, fairy tale creations. These lads thought, that's a machine that sucks. I wonder how well that sucks. And these lads, there are 4 or 5 of them, went into the milking parlour in the night, obviously, after they'd had quite a lot to drink, turned on the machines, and attached these sucky things to a certain part of their bodies. Yep. and all ended up in hospital. It was hilarious. I mean, I'm laughing now. I say it could have ended so badly for them because it's really, really powerful suction. I mean, it's like if you put your finger over the end of it, you can really feel the suction. Hi, Turid. Um, but you don't get how fully strong the suction is until you've got something that forms a seal, so there's no extra bits of air getting in. Yeah, it did backfire quite a lot, and I'll never name the lads, but it was hilarious. I mean, this was 20 years ago, nearly. No, just over 20 years ago now, and it's when they actually started locking the milking parlour. Oh dear. Oh, I would love to have gone to the hospital with them. So, what happened here? I still remember the paramedics just looking at the lads going, that's a new one. And of course, it couldn't just be one of you, there had to be 4 or 5. Oh, they're so fun. They're so much fun. Agricultural college was the best days of my life. It really, really was. But we'd do other things like we'd put animals in the classrooms, so we'd turn up for lectures and the lecturers would not be happy. So then we'd spend half an hour putting the animals back and then we'd have to get down to work. Yeah, pack mentality, exactly. We used to do a lot of oh, my brain's gone dead. Scavenger hunts. That's it. But agricultural college scavenger hunts are things like get a lamb, as in a live one, or a calf. Go and get some raw milk from the milking parlour. Get a bale of hay. Bring it back to the bar with you. We were nuts. We were so insane. That's okay, Darcy. But yeah, I had such a great time at agricultural college. It truly was the best time of my life. And if I could go back and do it again, as long as it was back in those days, I would. Oh, Mary Beth boys are the worst. I mean, we girls got up to some funny things, but the lads, they blew it out of the water. They went way above and beyond. So yeah, we'd do things like anybody who's a really, really sound sleeper, you'd pick their bed up and take it out and put it somewhere on the farm. It can literally be outside. It can be in a barn. It could be in with the sheep, in with the cows. We were nuts. We'd pick people's cars up with the telehandlers, teleloaders, Manitou, whatever you want to call them. We'd pick people's cars up with them and put them on top of buildings. You had too good a time, and then it became really bad, so you left college. You had to get away from the bad influences. Hi, Nancy. Feel free to tell me what you did, Nancy. Trust me, I've been part of worse. They put these barriers, lift up barriers, just as I was leaving college. Actually, they put them up in the last few weeks that I was there, and I want to see your tattoos. I want to know every story. This barrier to stop cars from just coming and going up and down the drive. There was somebody found a dead pheasant or something, and they sat it in the cradle of the barrier where it comes down and just rests, they'd sat it in there and put a cigarette hanging out of its mouth and a bottle of beer on its lap. And if it was the days when we had camera phones, I'd have taken a photo, but this is over 20 years ago now. The photo's in my head. You're alive at 65, that's saying something. Yeah. Yeah, I know that feeling. I'm only 40 and I'm surprised I'm alive. A friend of mine today, she put on Facebook, it was something like, tell me something that you're surprised about but grateful for. And I said, the fact I'm still alive at 40. College was fun. I think we had something like 9 of us in a diddy little car, Fiat 500 car. You probably don't have anything that small in America. I don't know, maybe you do. But it's not a modern Fiat 500. They're a good sort of third extra of the size on top. Let's just say a Fiat 500, you could fit 4 people in it if the 2 sat in the back had no legs. And there were 9 of us coming back from a pub one night. I didn't have... Oh, you have a Fiat 500? Well, you need to look at the old ones, like 20-something years ago. They're a lot smaller. That's awesome. Those are about the size of my current car, by the way. Yeah, they're tiny. That's what my current car looks. Well, it's about the same size as that. Your modern Fiat 500. Oh yeah, driving. I didn't have a driving license when I was at college, so I wasn't allowed to drive a car on the roads. But what I did have was a provisional license, which allowed me to drive a tractor, and I also did the college tractor course. Tractor driving course, which meant that I was an advanced tractor driver despite the fact I didn't even have a car license. And that meant that I was allowed to use the college tractors. So I did my weekly shop. Your dad called. You're one year away. College was the most expensive summer camp he's ever sent one of his kids to. Yes, I can understand that. But yeah, I'd take this tractor out, and there were times, I mean, a load of the lecturers lived on site, but they turned a blind eye. It was a case of, if you don't cause them hassle, they won't cause you hassle. And we'd do things like going to the pub. We'd attach a big trailer to the back of a tractor so we could take like 30 of us in one go up to the pub and back again on roads, which was highly illegal even back then, to have people like that in the back. It was so funny. But we did it, and the police just let us get away. The police weren't bothered about it. The college, they said, look, if you crash, it's a problem. If you get stopped by the police, it's a problem. If we know nothing about it, it's not a problem. You never went to college. Mary Beth, I'm sure how can I put this? No, darling, you can't get away with that these days. Probably why they stopped having people staying over at the college. Yeah, it's not for everybody though. College isn't. I know people who've never been to college and they've had way more fun than I have. And I had a lot of fun. But after college, I actually moved down to London and started working in London. So I went from a working farm college down into a big city. It was good fun. That had fun of its own in a different way. But yeah, that's kind of where my farming life was at its peak, I think, when I was at college, because we had all the animals there. Sorry. Dropped out and travelled. I travelled a lot as well. Lived in your car. I couldn't imagine doing that. It's not something that tends to happen very often here. I know it's quite popular in America. Well, not popular, you know what I mean. It happens a lot. But what matters in life is that you're happy where you get to. It doesn't matter what you did, what you didn't do, who you did what with, what you didn't do with who. So college had its ups and its downs. I'm actually just about to reapply to university. Sorry, college. Americans working at 14. That's good. Yeah, I mean it's weird because I've moved from England where it costs a fortune to go to university now, or college, you guys call it. Um, when I went, it was free, or not far off free, and now it's one of the most expensive things you can ever do in your life in England. But in Scotland, um, it's free. Education is free in Scotland. Um, and it's really weird. If you come from England to Scotland, they charge you the same fees that you'll be paying in England. But yeah, exactly. It is expensive there, isn't it? I forgot about that. Um, but if you come from some of the Nordic countries, like further up northeast, places like Sweden, Norway, that sort of area, it's nice that you got to be able to go, hey, goats on a hill. I don't know anything about the Canadian university, college, whatever system, sorry. um, what was I saying? Yeah, if you come from a Nordic country, sort of Sweden, Norway, all of that sort of stuff, Scotland is lovely. I love it here. Then you actually get free education in Scotland. It's quite weird. Okay, kids are acting like college hooligans. Bring them to me. I'll tell them all about how to be naughty at college. um, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at doing a course at the moment, a BA Honours in Creative Writing. Probably should really have applied for it a couple of weeks ago, but I've had a lot going on. So I think, I've been deciding and deciding and deciding, and I think I've decided, yes, I do want to do that. So I've got to apply for that, see what happens. I may not get in, never know. But it's good university actually to look into. Um, it's it's a university that was created for. It's called the University of the Highlands and Islands, and the courses are all created for people who live too far away to get to university on a regular basis, or college, sorry. Yeah. Um, so it's all done, or most of it's done online. You go in for like a long weekend twice a year. That's it. Everything else is done online. Don't drink them. Fizzy drinks bad for you. So it works well for me because it means that I can carry on with everything I'm doing with the farm. I don't have to worry about getting up, driving over to a university, and yeah, apparently the course I'm looking at doing is technically based in Inverness, and there's no way I could get to Inverness several days a week. It would be physically and mentally impossible. It's about an hour and a half away, and that's just to the airport, and the airport is my side of the city before you even get into the city, and the university's in the city. Um, so it's a collection of colleges and universities that have all sort of banded together and said, you know what, these people can't get the here and there and everywhere. So this is what they do, and it's really, really good. So yeah, drying my hair's annoying me. So that's something that I should be doing. Hopefully, I get my backside into gear and actually fill in the paperwork. Now, next week, just over about a week's time, I should, hopefully, all goes to plan, be driving from where I live, which is just off the northeast coast of Scotland. Or, sorry, inside, not quite at, not off, because off implies out at sea. So I'm just inside the mainland of northeast Scotland, and I'll be driving all the way down to the southeast of England, just before the south coast. It's over 600 miles. Now, you American lot, you could just get on a big road and just go, and you can do 600 miles in, I don't know, 10 hours, 12 hours. I have no idea. Whereas it's going to take me a good 18 hours, maybe more. It took a friend of mine longer than that to do 450 miles the other day. So, that's the plan. Now, I love driving. I love road trips. I love long trips. In Scotland, I can't do what I used to do. I used to do live videos as I was driving, and I'd just be singing along, and people could sing, or they could just laugh at me or ignore me, or didn't bother. It didn't matter to me. In Scotland, I can't do that. I'll not only lose my driving license in one hit, I'll also get put in prison. But I can do it once I'm in England, because England's driving laws are less strict than they are in Scotland. So, if I do, and I will be doing a lot of driving through the night, so you guys will probably see lives from me being quite mad. Need some whiskey. Where's that gone? Oh, there it is. Sorry, my messages have just all gone funny. I was actually buying gin tonight for a friend of mine down south. She loves gin. No. You have spelt whiskey wrong. That is Irish whiskey. You need to take out the E to make it Scottish whiskey. There you go. You learned something, Darcy. Whiskey spelt with an E is Irish. Without an E is Scottish. I don't know why that happened. It just did. Anyway, aside from whiskey, this area is actually quite famous for making gin. And my friend down south loves gin, but I know she's quite particular about her gin. So standing at the shop at 10 o'clock at night, the shop was just about to close. That's better. Scottish whiskey is stronger, I think. Could be wrong. So there's me, just before 10 o'clock at night. The staff are all closing up, on the phone to my friend going, what whiskey, what gin do I buy you? So anyway, I've got a gin that's just made up the road from here. And I'm hoping either tomorrow or Wednesday to go over to a distillery. I've got to buy some whiskey for somebody. And that'll be a laugh. The somebody's me. I have to buy whiskey for me. I do actually quite like whiskey. I put it in a lot of food that we're cooking. Because, it's just down the road. There's loads of it. Loads of whiskey. It is nice. Need a map. Inverness. Travelled north. Wick and John O'Groats are further north than me. Yeah, gin's really good. I'm not a fan of gin. Funny enough, I'm not. My friends love it, but I'm not. Okay, if you look at a map, Inverness, and you go east, so right hand side of Inverness, I'm along there. If you look on a map between Inverness and Aberdeen and just sort of draw a line in the middle, draw a straight line through the two, I'm sort of in the middle. Yeah, I'm not a fan of gin, but I saw... I made sloe gin for my friend. Well, we made it for people for Christmas a few years ago, quite some years ago. And I went down to my friend's 2 years ago. She says, "Oh, I opened that gin you made me." It's like, oh my god, it was years ago. It was like cough medicine. But it was really tasty. Yeah, whiskey's so much better than gin. I'm more of a whiskey girl than a gin girl. You see, I agree with you there, Fishes and Loaves Life. I agree with you. Yeah, same as vodka. I cannot stand vodka, though gin is just flavoured vodka. I cannot stand vodka at all. Can't stand the stuff. Shall I show you what I chose for my friend in the end? There's one gin I would like to try, if it wasn't £30 a bottle, just to try it. And it tastes of Parma violets. You know, those little sweets that you get, like, they're called Parma violets. And I don't know if you get them in America. Everybody over here say Parma violets, they go, "Oh, I love those." Anyway, this gin apparently tastes of Parma violets. So I would like to try that, because I would probably quite enjoy that. But at the same time, I don't really want to spend £30 to try a drink. Ow! Bright lights. To try a drink and then say, nice enough for a one-off. Right, this is what I bought. Turn that round. There you go. Red Door handcrafted Highland gin. Made in Forres. Forres, just down the road from us, Scotland. Out the Ben Romish. Anyway, yeah, so that's the gin I got for a friend of mine, because I've got lots of handcrafted gins, which these all are. It's a lovely bottle. I'm hoping when she finishes that I'll get the bottle. Right, this is a whiskey that is made just down the road from us in Aberlour. And Aberlour is the nearest town to us. Single malt whiskey. See? No E. You prefer tequila? Oh my god. Tequila puts me on the floor. Classic Speyside single malt. Sorry, that's really nice, that stuff. I was too busy looking at the whiskey. Now, this is what I'm drinking at the moment. You do live in heaven. A lot of my conversations turn into bad conversations. So this is what I'm drinking at the moment, the famous grouse. Now, this is a blended Scotch whisky, whereas this is a single malt. See, it's a single malt. Now the difference is, because everybody always asks me this, famous grouse is basically a brain has just gone. Blend. Thank you. Brain. Thank you for that. Blended whiskey is basically, to get the flavours, they use a mixture of other whiskies, and they mix them together to make the flavour that they want. And the reason that a single malt is more expensive is because it has to be got right every time. Whereas the blended, if you've not quite got the exact flavour you want, you can just go and get another whiskey and, you know, put a bit of that in it, and it will make the taste that you want. So that's why a blended whiskey, such as the famous grouse, whilst the famous grouse is a good blended whiskey is considered inferior to a single malt. And that's why. So now you know. I'm learning bits and pieces. Look at my pepper. Single malt, absolutely, it's the best. Bob Cowan. If it's a Speyside whiskey, let me know. And because one thing I'm planning on doing actually is going to the distilleries and doing tours. What do you have in your liquor cabinet? What do I make? Food. It's another pepper. I'm useless at growing peppers. As you can see, these plants don't look fantastic. Oh, these were left for me by Lindsay Penny. No, not Lindsay Penny. Linda Penny. Sorry, Linda, if you're watching this. Isn't that lovely? She came over, she left us a load of seeds and some pepper plants. And 2 of these, hopefully, I'm taking down to Jazz at Alternative Smallholding on my road trip. Right. What do you have in your liquor cabinet, and what do you make from it all? Put a pepper in a bottle of gin. I haven't thought of that. Will it make the gin taste different, or will it make the pepper taste nice for cooking? Our liquor cabinet, as you call it, we don't actually have one. I mean, that's stuff we've drank. Oh dear. There's an Aberlour whiskey I was just showing you, 10-year whiskey. The one next to it is a gin of some kind. Cannot for life remember what that weird shaped one is. The Absolute Vodka was from some of the friends who came to stay. We collect the bottles and I use them for things. But I don't actually have a liquor cabinet, as you call it. I know I'm weird. I live in Scotland. I don't have one, but stuff's on the side in the kitchen. It's probably good actually, because if I had stuff hidden away in a cupboard, I'd never see it, and if I never saw it, I'd probably never drink it. I mean, to be honest, I don't drink a lot anyway. I used to work on the railway, and you weren't allowed to drink alcohol in the job that I did. What do I use the bottles for? Making things like sloe gin. We like to do things like that for people. I mean, I've got a load more empty bottles down here and stuff. Now, hubby's been a bit silly because he kept throwing away these herb jars. And I said, don't throw them away. I need them. Oh, actually, he's not been as silly as I thought. I thought he'd thrown those lids away. He hasn't. He's been sensible, put them in a pot. Sloe gin recipe. Lots more. Anne's granny kept the whiskey and rum under the kitchen sink. I got dog food under my kitchen sink. Doesn't sound as good, does it? Some people, though, do actually say that you need to keep it dark. Yeah, I will, absolutely, because one thing we are wanting to do is to make our own food. Hey, clueless homesteaders. Great single malts. Where did you go in Scotland? Because I live on the Whiskey Trail. Literally, it's called the Whiskey Trail. It's like 10 miles of 50-something distilleries all on it, and I live on the road that is the Whiskey Trail. One of the distilleries is half a mile from here. I can stagger home from that one quite happily. Do I have any more alcohol? As silly as this may sound, Ash is actually the one who does most of the stuff in the kitchen, not me. I know I'm really, really bad. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible housewife. Asher does more cooking than me. He does all the washing up. And, well, these days, the dishwasher does the washing up, but Asher fills the dishwasher. And the reason is because of my fibromyalgia, you get a lot of pain across your shoulders and your neck here. And trying to do dishes, because I'm so short, my shoulders are up like that, whereas most people, their shoulders are down like that when they're washing up, but me, I have to have them up to actually get in the sink and do stuff. And so because of that, it actually makes it really painful for me to do any washing up. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. No, I don't. I just don't do that. I'm just looking in my fridge. I've got no alcohol left in my fridge. There's normally cider in my fridge. What I do have in my fridge is, sheep vaccine. There we are. Heptovac. And I have, what's this? Don't even know what this is. Ooh. I have a lot of drugs, basically. I have ACP, which is a really strong horse sedative. Oops, there's enough there to kill a person. Macallan is literally down the road from me. Sorry. Am I alive? Am I the right way up? Sorry. Keto, you have to be really, really careful with fibromyalgia, because you shouldn't have things, I did drop you, I'm really sorry. You shouldn't have things such as nightshade plants. Sorry, I dropped you in the fridge. Yeah, nightshade plants, you shouldn't have them if you've got fibromyalgia, because it causes problems with your nerves. Right, Macallan Distillery is just the other side of Archiston, and Archiston is the nearest little village to me. Sorry, Nancy, I've made you go to alcohol. I'm really sorry. I'm not really causing people to go to start drinking. That sounds so bad. That's really, really bad of me. Yeah, so anyway, I was actually offered some of their Highland cows, or Highland coos. They're called coos. Highland cows are called coos, C-O-O. They're not actually called cows. Anyway, that's just local vernacular. Yeah, so Macallan's just down the road. I know the farmer who looks after the cows, and they offered us some the end of last year. But our fencing isn't sorted. Our fencing is okay for sheep, but if a cow just tries to rub its bum on the fence is gonna run away. If a cow just but Highland cows is kind of on our list a little bit, on our list of future babies to be having, because we love Highland cows. Hi Tracy, hello from Ohio. Which part of Ohio? I actually spent quite a bit of time in Cincinnati, my younger days. Yeah, so Highland cows, Highland coos, C-O-O. Oh, on the 3rd of August, I think it is, I will hopefully, I love the fact you picked that up already. Well done, Clueless Homesteaders. I don't know where that is. I've heard of Wakeman. Goats on a hill. Farm fencing is horrendous when you rent 100 acres, and when you move in, the fencing is crap. Overdid it at a restaurant. Just too small eggplant terrines. My husband thought I boozed it up, but I was having almost an allergic reaction. Oh no, that sounds awful. sorry for laughing. I don't deal with bad situations very well. I deal with them in laughing. A friend of mine sent me, sent me a photo last week. I feel so bad. I really do feel bad. She sent me a photo and it was her. She was laid down on her lawn and she had a blanket over her. And she had a cushion under her head and one of her legs was raised up. And I looked at the picture and my first response was, "Oh my God, are you so drunk you've passed out on your lawn?" She said, "No, I've broken my ankle. We're waiting for the ambulance." Like, oh, tell people you fell over due to alcohol is a better story. Furfles. I laugh so much. I have to. I'm the most inappropriate person you can imagine when it comes to people being injured. Asha? I have to keep the camera away because I think hubby's coming down the stairs and he sleeps naked. The bathroom's downstairs and he'd have to come through the room I'm in. So, I mean, me and a friend of mine, Becky, oh, we're so hilarious. Oh, we are the most inappropriate people you can imagine. We laugh at the worst things possible. But I used to work on the railway, and I've got a pretty sick sense of humour because it's a very dark sense of humour, as people call it. You know, I don't find some things funny. You know, I do have a line when it comes to animals. I don't find things funny, but people are very funny. Funny looking back, people in the restaurant had to come and give you Benadryl. Oh my God. Oh, that's bad. Well, I'm glad you're alive. Oh, I am so bad. It's because of working on the railway, you have to be able to laugh about things. Because the job I did, you have to be able to laugh about things that would otherwise you'd end up going mad from being sectioned. It's like I had to laugh. I'm really, really sorry if you think that this is not funny and if you think that I am sick for laughing at this. But what the really sad bit was a 65-year-old man had killed himself by standing in front of a fast train. Now that bit is sad and that bit I don't joke about. But absolutely, fishes and loaves. That's what makes it funny. Now you're alive. That's what makes it funny because you're alive. Anyway, so yeah, this 65-year-old man killing himself in front of the train. That was not the funny part. Now, what you probably don't know is if a person kills themselves by standing in front of a fast train, their extremities pop off. And again, that's not a nice bit because, you know, the head's one place, the arms go in different directions, the legs go in different directions, the torso goes in different directions. Actually, the torso actually came up in the air and actually hit the signal box where I worked in, hit the window. So, you know, it's there's bits that aren't funny about it. But what was funny was they'd gone and collected all his bits and pieces, you know, all his body and everything. And then a few days later, we had a knock at the door, and this track worker came in, and he said, "We found a hand." I said, "What do you mean a hand?" He said, "We've just found a hand that's, you know, severed at, like, about there-ish. A hand that's been severed from an arm. We've just found it down there. Is it from, you know, that guy the other day?" And I said, "No, they found all the bits. As far as we're aware, they found all the bits." And they checked and they had found all the bits. And, you know, he'd had two hands and all of that. And it was a complete mystery as to where this human hand had come from. Now, to me, I find that quite funny because somebody, and they never found out who, somebody had managed to get their hand sliced off by a piece of equipment not gone to any doctor or hospital within 50 miles that was checked. And this hand was just left there. And the people who were dealing with it said, "Do you think it's possible the man had three hands?" Like, well, okay, I don't know. Not something I've ever heard of. But yeah, they said, "Oh, we don't think it's related to the other person," but I should think not, because you found two hands of his, and then there's another hand somewhere. But yeah, completely random. Nobody has any idea what happened and what happened to the person, because that's not something that you generally can just walk away from. You can't just bandage it up. Thanks, Tracy. Everyone's so quiet. I'm thinking I'm going the wrong place. I shouldn't be telling this story. I mean, you get some really pretty sick things on the railway. Things you have to deal with, such as I used to work at Gatwick, which uh fishes and loaves. Sorry, I'm so bad at remembering names. The coroner signed it all in, so no. Your movie, The Hand. Maybe it was, what's his name? Is it Thing from Adam's Family? Maybe it was him. Maybe he's real. But you see, this is the sort of thing you have to deal with when you're on the railway, and you have to be able to laugh at least. No, not anymore. He died at Lancing, down on the Sussex coast and south of England. Poor thing. But yeah, that's the sort of stuff you have to deal with. And yeah, could well be his brother. Maybe he was on holiday. We haven't done any Adams Family movies since then. Another one was I worked at Gatwick on the platforms for a while. Gatwick Airport. If any of you have flown into London from America, you may well have flown into Gatwick. It's entirely possible, Nancy. It was a long time ago. I can't remember if it was full moon. Anyway, the airport goes over the top of the train station. So trains are a lot more popular here than they are in America, especially for commuters, for people. Firefighters, absolutely. And it's the same sense of humour. You have to have a really messed up sense of humour. Otherwise, you can't do your job. It's simple. I was saying Gatwick, that was it. A lady, unfortunately, jumped in front of a fast train that was doing 100 mile an hour. Now, because the airport was above it, it had what they call a canopy. So you've got, it essentially is a tunnel. So everything went everywhere. And I mean, everywhere. You had, stuff dripping from over the roof at the top. It's dark now. I've got to put the flocks away. Okay. See you soon, hopefully, Tracy. The mob in Lancing. Not sure that's kind of right. It's an old people's seaside destination. You never know. That is true, Nancy. Even the doctors will say that more weird stuff happens on a full moon night. Yeah. So anyway, this woman, unfortunately, it was literally blood dripping from the ceilings and bits of her body, her internal organs, and everything. And the smell was horrendous. It didn't matter how much they cleaned out the drains, it still smelled. It was awful. That was. And a couple of weeks later, me and one of my colleagues were working on the platforms. We look at this mouse. I'm like, what the hell is this mouse pulling? It was pulling the woman's spleen, which had been sat there festering away, and it pulled her spleen across the platform and down into a drain and off into its little home. And that's a bit weird. There was one I felt so sorry for this guy. Somebody at this one place, it threw himself in front of a train. Anyway, on the platforms were vending machines, so like cans of fizzy drinks and stuff. And about a month after it happened, this guy had come to, time to eat dinner. I'm so sorry. I'm probably putting you off it. Sorry, Darcy. Yeah, the smell was so bad in Gatwick, it was absolutely horrendous. Thanks, Nancy. I'm glad some of the people find my weird stories funny. Anyway, this guy came to top up the vending machine. So, he opens the doors and everything. And he gets on the phone. He's going, "What has happened here? What do you mean? What is inside this vending machine?" And it turned out when this guy jumped in front of a train, a load of the bits and blood from this guy had actually managed to get into the vending machine. And this guy had cleaned it out, and he just kept throwing up. He kept being sick, and the platform staff kept calling me, going, "You're going to have to stop the trains. You're going to have to stop the trains." Because this guy was just all over the place. Oh dear, Nancy, Gatwick's horrible. I mean, I worked there for 3 years, and I had a great time, but I wouldn't want to do that job again. So yeah, there you go. That guy was just throwing up from month-old bits in this vending machine. It was so we had to have it taken away. The actual vending machine was actually condemned, and it was taken away, and we had to then get new ones installed and everything. But you see, that's the sort of stuff you have to deal with if you work on the railway. And you have two ways of dealing with it. You either gain a very, very sick, dark sense of humour, or you quit. Those are the only two ways of working on the railway. I will tell you, though, it's one of the best jobs in the world. So certainly being a signaller, which I did, signalling the trains, that was so much fun. I loved that job. There's an actual book which is all about crashes that happened, and the way that the trains are run in the UK is actually a world. It's a setup for all the train systems in the world that came after them, and it is the safest system, and that's why it's used all over the world. I've got a friend who I knew from the railway. He's currently in, it's not Dubai, can't remember. Anyway, he was setting up their railway. Yeah. Put in a huge red bag. Yeah. Disgusting. A female friend of mine, she's a tiny, tiny little thing, and her job is, they call it a mom, M-O-M, mom. It's mobile operations manager, and her job is going and fixing things on the track. And you'd look at her and just think, there's no way you'd be able to shift those points and this, that, and the other. She does. I don't know how she does it, because she doesn't weigh about, she's not even half what I weigh. She's probably about a third what I weigh. But she can lift this heavy stuff, and one thing she has to do is pick up body pieces. And I said, how do you deal with it? She said, if you thought my sense of humour was dark before, she said, you wouldn't nothing. 10 times worse now. So that's a good laugh when you get together, you and a load of signallers. Stories, or train drivers as well. It's very sick, dark, dark conversations. So it's like the army, soldiers, the things they have to deal with, and as you said, the firefighters, the paramedics, doctors, and I mean, my mom works in a neurological trauma unit in one of the Queen Anne's Hospital in Nottingham, I think it is. She did tell me several times, and she deals with people that are pretty messed up because it's head trauma. And some of the things that she's told me, I couldn't deal with. Hi, Tracy. Yes, so some of the things she told me I couldn't deal with. I don't know how she dealt with seeing it because I couldn't. But then the things I've told her that she just went to the bathroom and threw up. She's had to deal with people. They had 2 people in the same week. So sci-fi humour. Thank you. I like that. That's a good way of describing it. 2 people in 1 week my mum had to deal with that were brought in that had got an electric drill and tried to drill into their brain, kill themselves. It doesn't work, by the way. You can't kill yourself that way because you're in too much pain that you mess yourself up, but you don't kill yourself. Navy rescue specialist. Your humour is horrible, thanks to him. Sounds great. I can imagine. I can imagine. You have to, otherwise you couldn't do the job. You couldn't work on the railway if you've not got a sick sense of humour. Well, if you'd start without it, you get it very quickly. So, I should probably actually at some point. You think you missed some good stories? Probably not. I don't know. Did you miss the one about the vending machine? Yeah, I have to laugh at things. You have to laugh at things. Yeah. Well, my mom was telling me that about the people drilling into their heads. So I'm going to be sick because, this was probably about 4 or 5 years ago now, and it still makes me feel awful. Look on the ambulance service. Oh, not the standard answer. Yeah. How was your day? Fine. How was work? Great. Everything okay? Yes. You see, the worst. There's one really really bad thing. I've got what we call a near eidetic memory. Commonly known as photographic memory, but mine's only classed as near, not actual photographic, because if I read something, I can't remember it. It's really, really difficult for me to read something and remember it. But if I have a conversation with somebody, hear something or see it, it's there. It's there for life. And that is really annoying. And I do honestly believe that actually plays a part in my depression and my fatigue, because there's things I want to forget that I can't forget, and it doesn't matter if I don't talk about something for 20 years, it's still in my head. I don't forget it, and then everything plays over and over and over and over and over. Something just triggers a memory, and then that's it. It's in my head again. It's up and it's there for a long, long time. But working on the railway, you have to pass an assessment, and to be a signaller is a really difficult assessment. And part of it is a test of your memory. You'll listen to a quick conversation. I don't know if you've heard. When pilots speak, it's all very very quick, and it's a case of Tango 474 at whatever altitude, heading for whatever airport, and then air traffic control will say, yep, heading of, give them a heading, and then tell them which runway. That's it, over and done with in about 3 seconds. And it's the same on the railway. It is handy, Tracy, but the whole point was that you had to be able to remember things, because if something went wrong, you're in court. So it's like whenever there was somebody getting killed or a near miss, or if a train went past a red signal, as a signaller as well, even though, see, that's similar to me, I suppose, fishes and loaves. You are tested, you're psychologically tested, and you have to be able to pick up information really, really quickly off the radio, and then you've got to remember it. Because if you're going to court about something that's happened, it can be 2 years later and you've got to remember it. You've got to know exactly what happened. And so part of the assessment is you listen to this conversation. I think there's 5 different ones. It was 3 or 5, can't remember which. And you have to listen to these conversations. You're not allowed to write anything down. And then you do a load more tests. And so your brain's, thinking about these other things and the other things and then the other things. And then like an hour and a half later, you're questioned about these things that you listened to quite a while ago that were only like 30 seconds long. And you only heard once. And you had to be able to have really, really good recall in order to pass. And it's in part, it's a test for the eidetic memory. And if your memory isn't good, you won't be a signaller. So it's interesting, but it means I can remember things I don't want to remember. I can remember bad things. Well, I think, Karen, one of the things with the fibromyalgia, because it's come on, it kind of creeps up on you. I can't remember what happened 2 weeks ago. I wish I couldn't sometimes. It can be really, really difficult. It can be absolutely horrible. Yeah, fibro, that's what I was just about to say. Fibro has destroyed my memory. And it's horrible because what I know. And I know that I know it. But if I can't remember something, it's worrying. Like when somebody says, "Oh, my granddad, I think he's got dementia because he can't remember this, that, and the other." It's the same for me, Mary Beth. I can't remember things that happened a few days ago, but I can tell you stuff that happened 20 years ago. I can tell you train accidents, stuff that's happened. One very funny occasion. Okay, on the railway, the signals, that like the traffic lights, so they tell a train that it can go. They have to stop. It can go sort of slowly, or green. It can just zoom, go off. Well, we use those traffic lights on the railway as well. Now, when a train goes past a red signal, it's called a SPAD, which is SPAD, signal passed at danger. And these are really, really bad because when they happen, the signaller in the signal box has to be drug and alcohol tested. The driver has to be drug and alcohol tested. The train is, thoroughly assessed and everything. The signals are tested because it's very, very dangerous. People die when that happens a lot of the time. And I remember one time I worked in a very big signal box at first. There were, I think, 15 people on duty, 12 to 15 at any one time, all in this big room. And I'd just gone for my lunch, and it was only about half an hour. I have to write everything down. Self-care is not my strength, Fibre. Yeah, absolutely. It can be worse, Fibre. It can be worse. Anyway, I went for my lunch, a break. It was only about half an hour or so. And I come back, and all the lads, because mostly men on the railway, certainly in that job, all the lads were talking about this SPAD, signal passed at danger. They were going on about so many things that were done wrong. And I come back, and it's the guy who's sitting on my panel who'd taken over from me so I could have a break. He was the one leading the conversations, like, oh my God, what happened? Was this, did I do something wrong? Was this just when I just walked out? How long ago was this that this happened? And they're all there going, well, it was this morning. It was an afternoon shift. Yeah, this morning. Like, oh, God for that. And then I went, but I wasn't told about it. And, you're supposed to be told about everything, and things all get written down in this incident book, and I have to read it before I start duty. I have to read everything in the incident book, and I have to sign it and acknowledge that I've read it all. I was like, this isn't in the book. Wait, what are you all going on about? And they looked at me, they went, it was on Chuggington. I don't know if you know what Chuggington is. It is a children's TV cartoon programme. So they were all talking about this SPAD, and I literally thought I'd done something wrong. Somebody had done something wrong. It's a miracle nobody had been killed, and turned out they're talking about a stupid children's programme. But anyway, it's a children's programme that's based on trains. It's quite funny, actually. But it turned out that all the men would watch it in the mornings when they're on afternoon shift. And then they'd come in and talk about it. And I never watched it. I don't know, I was at the horses all morning. But yeah, a really funny one. And then I'll go after I told you this, because I'm getting tired and it's nearly 3 o'clock. Oops. One of the funniest incidences on the railway in England. And it's funny because nobody got hurt, nobody got injured, and it's hilarious. And it also shows that people are so much more reliable than computers in that job, and that is why. Oh, good night, Nancy. See you soon. There's a reason that trains are not run just electronically, and that is because I don't care. Okay, Asher, my partner, he's a computer geek. He's like way. He's got a doctorate in computer geekery, and computers are amazing. They're his thing, and he works on things that in like 15 years' time will be commonplace, but we haven't even heard about them now. And they put in this computerized signaling system. Husband does this stuff. Forget I've done it. And anyway, they decided they were going to put this amazing computer system. No, it's far better than a human. It's going to take away the human error. And they put it in down in London. And within 15 minutes, they had to take it out. They literally ripped it all out. Only they stopped using it 15 minutes after, or 12 minutes, sorry, after it was commissioned. Because one of the very first manoeuvres that this stupid computer did is completely acceptable by all the rules. These trains can all go in this place where they are. But what these trains actually ended up doing, computer geekery. He's a doctor of geekery is what I call him. Within 12 minutes, it had actually placed these 3 trains in essentially what you'd call a Mexican standoff, where 2 trains were waiting to go into the platform. They couldn't because there was a train in the platform, and these 2 trains were waiting at a signal to get in, which was acceptable under the rules, but you wouldn't do it because then, hi Eva, because then it actually blocked other trains from coming in, and you couldn't reverse them because of the way that the points were on those particular systems. And the only way to get those 2 trains out of the 3, the 2 that were waiting to go into the station, the only way you could actually get those 2 trains moved was by crane. And this computer went in and in 12 minutes put these 3 trains in this Mexican standoff. And as everybody said, humans, no, whilst you can do that, you wouldn't do that because it's stupid. And the computer went, these rules are acceptable, I can do that. So, signalling when it comes to trains, you can't run it all electronically. You can't do that. It's not possible because we're just not advanced enough yet. So that is why you have humans on the railway. That's probably quite a boring bit of information. Right, guys. I'm going to head off, having left you with a story that wasn't about drilling into your brains and people severing hands off. Yeah, it's been a weird life, hasn't it? Oh, well, I'm glad I taught you something. A computer is indeed only as good as human behind it. And when I was at high school, Mr. Nichols, who was my head of year, you see how insane my brain is? I am 40. And I can still remember what happened when I was in high school. Mr. Nichols did this talk one day about how washing machines never go wrong. You know, oh yes, and college antics. I've forgotten about that. Thank you, Karen. About how washing machines do everything perfectly every time. You know, and he said, so who's smartest, washing machines or people? And most people put their hand up for washing machines, like me and this one other guy, this lad, Ben. We put our hands up for the people. And he said, what makes you think humans are better than a washing machine when we've just told you the washing machine never does anything wrong? Over and over again does the right thing, and you're saying humans are better than a washing machine. And I said, well, yeah, washing machine can't work without a human program in it, telling it what to do. And he said, that's exactly what I was getting at. So, you know, insane people. Thinking a washing machine's better than a human. More useful than most humans. Certainly more useful than me when it comes to washing clothes. But yeah, there you go. Machines will take over the world one day. They will absolutely crash things and all sorts. I might actually one day do a talk about train crashes that have happened. They're not funny, but they're interesting, and yeah, they can be really quite interesting as to what happened, what caused them, and all of that. And one of which I remember in my lifetime, I actually worked with people who were on duty when the worst one over here happened. Oh, thank you, Karen. So I may well do that. I might schedule that. I'll try and dig out my book and remind myself. Stephen Hawking warned us about artificial intelligence. You know, he was a very clever guy. Okay, everybody, I'm going to go because it's been an hour and a half. And it is, oh dear, 3 a.m. Oopsie. Never mind. I've enjoyed talking to you all. I've enjoyed feeling better. AI has no conscience. Yeah, you're right. Probably put it in one night. Good night, Kathy. Good night, everybody. Please hit the thumbs up if you haven't on your way out. And I hope I gave you some laughs. And if you don't know what we're laughing about, go watch the beginning. It's really quite funny. I will see you all very soon, I hope. And yeah, I will. I promise. Bye, everybody. Good night.